Can you take the people behind the rules of Morgan Pearson and how these came about?
Yeah, the rules. I don't. Yeah, like let's see. It probably started around 2020. And it's kind of funny thinking about it. I feel like 2020 was like a weird time with COVID and all that, because being an Olympic, hopeful, like I wasn't about to like change my career around, like change my life around. To the Olympics were like a year. They postponed it. It's obviously a year away now. But at the same time, like we're training a lot and training hard, but we still like you have a little bit more freedom with your. I don't know about like. It's not like I had a much more free time than I do now, but just like things are like I just feel like that energy that was spent traveling and racing is just like you just kind of have it and hold on to it. And I think that was kind of when it started, because my friend Matt and I were like, he just started making rules. Like he made the first one. I think it was every session's a key session. But then I just felt like I was like super creative with them back then, because I just had a little more like of that creative energy. Just because we weren't traveling and racing, so we were just like I just remember like training for like months and months, trying to still improve myself so I can make it to the Olympics the next year. But yeah, that creative energy was just flowing, man. And we just came up with the rules. Like all of them are, it's kind of silly, I'd say. But a lot of them are like there's like a lot of truth to them too. So it's kind of like who I am as a person, an expression of like I'm pretty I kind of seem serious, like maybe to the outsider, but I think once you get to know me, it's a little more like joking around and stuff like that. So if you just read the rules, you're like, dang, this guy's serious, he's heavy, like. But if you like really read into him, it's like, okay, he's joking around a little here, at least for some of them. So yeah, man, it was fun. Like I every so often I still make one. We want to get to 100 rules, and then eventually like make a coffee book or something like that. I mean, not whatever. It's probably not gonna make we're not gonna make like we're not gonna get rich or anything, make money from it. But I just think it'd be cool to kind of like some like get some cool photos, maybe some something of us training or some at races, just kind of like a memory book almost. So I don't come up with them as much as I used to, and I think it's because of during COVID you just had all that creative time. I don't know about you, but like I think it was like a unique time for some of that stuff.
For sure.
I mean,
I
I
mean, this
remember.
podcast started July of COVID year,
Yeah,
so
totally,
yeah.
dude. Like, yeah, like that's a great example. Like, I remember there's like YouTube's popping up and stuff, and there's just stuff like that, man. Like, I think it was, obviously, no one liked it. No one liked the pandemic and people getting sick and all that. But it was a unique time for a lot of people. So, yeah.
Going through a few of the rules, and I'll read it, and then just you expand on it however little or much you want to, and hopefully get you a few more X followers out of this. Rule 48, love this one. So funny. This shows the funny personality. If you have the energy to cook yourself fancy meals, you're not training hard enough.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's pretty much true. Like, I mean, I don't know. Like, I know um, your audience is mostly runners, and obviously, as a runner, like, you guys, a professional runner trains really hard. But like as a triathlete, it's just like it's different. Like the workouts maybe themselves aren't like as intense, but the total volume is really high. And uh, for me as like a professional, trying to take it serious, trying to get to the top level, I've noticed like it's hard to cook meals like that are it's a balance. I actually was thinking about it just before this, because I got done with a run session this morning, and I'm like, I got home and made some like eggs and toast, which is like, I mean, I don't know, it's not that hard to make. And I'm just like, dang, dude, like it's so hard to like balance just like eating healthy almost and training hard. Because like, well, like there's the one side of it, like you got to make sure you're getting the calories, the carbs, the protein, and all that. But then there's the other side of like you don't want to be like just like eating all this crappy food. So it's a little different than the rule. Like the rule is more about like if you're putting a lot of time and energy into that, like going to the grocery store every day and getting like, spending all that time going to the grocery store, and spending like an hour of prep, like that's a lot of energy. It's a lot of time on your feet. Like I don't have that time to make those meals. Like last night, man, I just made rice. Like I just have a rice cooker and then ground beef, and then it's like a taco bowl. Like I get like salsa and guacamole and from the grocery store, and just throw it in a giant bowl, some cheese, maybe if I'm feeling fancy, like cut up an onion and put it in the ground beef. Like that's as fancy as I go, man. So yeah, yeah. If you're putting too much time and energy into cooking, like maybe you're not training hard enough, especially if you're trying to like be world class triathlete. Yeah, that's all I can talk for, I guess.
That should be the quote on the graphic, and just see how many clicks that gets. Love it. On a more serious note, Rule 45: maximize the 99% before you worry about the 1%.
Yeah, yeah. This one's probably less joking around, but like I just think I forget why this. I like. I don't remember. I mean, I feel like this is kind of a common saying almost, but I just put it in my own words. But as a triathlete, like there's so many little things you can do. Little like actually, I'll give a little example. So yesterday I was talking to my girlfriend Molly, who's out of town right now, and I used to have a strength coach, but he left. He moved, so I'd meet him, and then he moved, and then I was like. It was just like it was kind of a lot because he'd give me these lifts and it'd be like, dude, it was a lot. It was kind of comes back to like the cooking thing. Like it's a lot of energy. If I'm training, like sometimes 30 hours a week, like that's a lot of energy and time. And then I want to spend time like, resting and recovering. And then also like I want to spend time like turning off from, triathlon and like being able to like take my mind off it. And then, I want to spend time like which I wouldn't count as training or lifting, but like spending time, doing some maintenance stuff for my body, foam rolling, stretching, mobility, which is really important to me. So it's like, if I want to lift, like it's, I don't want to be in there for more than an hour and, maybe two lifts a week. And so 2 hours of lifting a week, like that sounds doable, but, if you're doing a good job, like and taking the rest between reps and lifting heavy and like you really can't get that much done. Like you maybe like 4 or 5 exercises in the gym per lift, which is and I guess the point that I'm trying to get at is like I need to like for example, like I was doing a hex, the hex bar lift or squat or deadlift, whatever you call it. And it's like
Mm-hmm.
there's a million, you talk to different strength coaches and this and that, and we were talking. My girlfriend and I were talking about. I'm like, I don't need to be like this. Isn't I'm not training to be a lifter. Like I'm training for the triathlon. So like, as I feel like as long as I'm getting some variation of it, like I don't need to like be you got to do the single leg squat on this day and do 5 reps of 80% of the strength. Like there's so many ways to complicate it. I think the 90% or whatever was it 99%, the 90%. That's just
Yeah.
like making sure I get in and do the lift, and I'm doing some variation of like those really important movements and doing good form and a good job. Versus like I don't need to like extremely worry about the number of reps, how many in each rep or how many in each round. Like that stuff's like if you're really trying to like if that's your job, like a professional lifter, like that's what you need to worry about. For me, it's like swim, bike, run, massage, all this shit, like sleep and eat. I would put even for lifting. Like this is like the sixth or seventh thing that I'm like that's taking me to the next level, which is important, but I can't stress about it, man. And then you create like getting rid of that stress also takes away from performance. So I don't know. That maybe not be the best job of explaining that rule, but like that's just an example in the past couple days, man.
Rule 43, love this one. I don't think enough people talk about this, especially for you. I know you train with a lot of people in the Boulder area across many disciplines and groups, but Rule 43 is don't be mad at someone for dropping you in training. They're making you better.
Yeah, man, that's a good rule. Yeah, dude, like I just think people are kind of soft with that. Like especially these days, with like the lactate meters and heart rate monitor, like, and I'm not saying that stuff's not valuable information, um, but I think like if someone's feeling good and they drop you and they're like maybe they're just a better runner than you, like at the end of the day, that's elevating you. I've never surrounded myself with a group of athletes, whether it's swim, bike, or run, and not, not gotten something out of it when they drop me. Uh, I mean, like honestly, like the most, there's nothing better than getting dropped in training. Actually, for me, especially as a triathlete, because it just you can always level up in some way, and yeah, there's just nothing better. Like and you have to frame it like that. Like I think some people are just scared to get dropped in training, and they I don't know, they want to see their training partners do well, but like if their training partner is having a good session and maybe dropping them on the run or whatever, um, they frame it as they're going too hard. And first off, like if they are, it's not your result. Like these are individual sports we're doing. So like, why do you like I doubt you really care. What you care is your ego getting a little hurt, and like that you got to frame it in the other way. Like this is helping me. Like I'm getting pushed, or at least I'm seeing. Sometimes just even if you let them go and you get dropped, but just seeing that level is good too. Like I feel like knowing that there's always someone better out there. Like you don't. It's so easy to be complacent and just be like, I'm the best. I mean, maybe. I mean, like I've seen it. Like there's been times where I get like a little bit, I don't know, cocky. Like I'm doing really well in training, and then sometimes I need that person to drop me, or that guy to just like destroy me in the pool or whatever it is. So I like it. I like it, and I think most people would it'd be good for most people.
Really like rule 4 of yours: overtrain until it's not overtraining. I've heard this said before, never heard it explained, but I know where you're going with it. But tell the people.
Yeah, man. I mean, I take credit for this rule. Like I've seen a lot of people use it on like, which is kind of cool. Like people that probably don't even know that I said it first. Um, so yeah, that's pretty cool to see. Just like knowing people can relate. But I just think I think when you're young, and you're like coming up, you kind of have to like I guess if you're a citizen runner, like someone who's not trying to perform at the highest level, and all you want to do is like finish a marathon, um, then you want to be smart. Like you don't want to risk injury, and like you just want to finish that marathon. Like get a coach who's gonna kind of like get you there. Know like a natural progression of mileage and the right workouts, and you're like if that's your goal. But if your goal is to be world class or national class, or maybe you're uh, I don't know, trying to make the Olympic trials in the marathon or something, like, and you're pretty far off. Like at the end of the day, the level is the level, like, and you have to get there. So sometimes you just gotta like, and I know like it's not. I know there's a lot of coaches out there, like internet coaches, with podcasts and this sort of thing that like are probably gonna hate that I'm saying this, but like sometimes you have to risk it. Like if you're trying to win, if you're trying to be the best in the world, like you 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 have to risk something. Like you can't just get there by the safe training. It's just I don't know. I just haven't seen it.